Man, it's your big brother K-Rino. Y'all see the question on the title. This was inspired by something I was reading that Snoop has said. Shout out to Snoop Dogg. Um, just talking about how so many artists are frustrated. So many artists are really struggling. And I know he's talking about mainstream artists, big name artists, artists that are household names, and talking about how they're struggling and not really making no money off the streaming, not really making no money off YouTube, and the labels are getting the brunt of the money. He even mentioned Michael Jackson, with Thriller, and we know Thriller is the largest selling album in history. At least last I checked. I don't know if any album has surpassed that, but last I checked, Thriller was the largest selling album in music history, any genre. So to even have people like Michael Jackson and people like Prince who were dissatisfied with the payout that were coming from the record labels. Um, uh, One thing Snoop said in a little article I was reading, he said it's not the label's fault because that's the way they've been doing it all along. Well, I gotta respectfully disagree with my brother because I do blame the labels. I blame any um, entity that constructs a system that's intentionally designed to steal from or to greatly reduce the revenue, the payout to the talent. I blame them 100%. Now, after knowledge comes, after we kind of get a grasp of understanding of how this thing is constructed and why it's constructed and who it's constructed by, then it's up to us to get the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that we need in order to say, okay, well, you know what? I see what that is. If I want to play this game, if I want to be immersed in this facet of the game, meaning that mainstream uh, facet of the game, then I better learn these contracts. I better learn this terminology. I better get proper representation. I better learn how to negotiate from a position of strength on my own behalf, and I better learn how to take control and have ownership over my work. And if I do that, then after that, I can't blame the labels anymore if I make a move and I get got. But at the forefront and at the head of all this, man, is the same people who are at the head of government. I'm speaking about a mindset at the head of the judicial system. It's gonna always be set up to keep them on top and keep you on the bottom. So music is no different. An artist has to understand, like they are salivating, they slobbing at the mouth when they see the potential to make generational wealth off of your talent. They slobbing at the mouth. They got to have that. So if we don't figure out how to deconstruct and remove and separate ourselves from that system, pretty much, then it's gonna be like this. You got to understand how long the music business has existed. There are records that came out 100 years ago. They were recording music. They were recording physical copies of music 100 years ago, and artists, no matter what genre, have always been getting gypped out of their bread. And I know black artists in particular were being gypped out of their bread since day one because there have always been parts of the game that were not told to us. There were parts of the game that were not exposed to us from publishing on down. So it's it's mandatory that in 2024 that we learn those parts of the game that are the key to our success and to our generational wealth. We have to learn those parts because if they hide something from you, then they hid it for a reason. If they didn't tell you about something, they didn't tell you for a reason. If they put a spin on it and explained it in a way that wasn't really representative of what it is, and they did that for a reason, they don't have no talent. They have zero talent. I say this all the time. Their only talent is to exploit yours. That's it. That's it. So when the fun wears off, when going on the road and getting on stage and signing autographs and taking pictures and all that, people recognize you. When all that wears off, wears off and you realize, well, man, all this is there, but I don't have no money, then it becomes embarrassing. It's embarrassing to be known all over the place and you can't rub two nickels together. And you're seeing the people who make the excuse, well, hey, well, we incurred all the costs. We put the music out, we distributed it, we manufactured it, we promoted it and marketed it. Yeah, y'all did all that. But the reality is a successful artist, especially someone like a Michael Jackson. We ain't got to use Mike because Mike on a different level. But a successful artist, they're gonna easily make that money that the label put in, invested. They're gonna make that back and then some easily. So the lie and the excuses used that, well, we had to get this, we had to get this, we had to get that, and that may be true for some artists who may not have reached the mark. But for the most part, the music business has been very successful financially, and they've done it on the backs of artists, like I say, in all genres. Now, as far as, like I say, rap music is concerned, that's where I come in, and we've seen a lot of rappers who are starting to understand that and learn that this game is dirty, and luckily some of them wake up and they can kind of get control of it, but some never do. And if you sign to these labels and they lock you into these deals, man, now you got years and years and years lost, years and years and years lost because you trapped. They've trapped you into these contracts, and you can't even move around and eat on the outside of those contracts because anything you do belongs to them. They own your name. They own your likeness. When they own your likeness, you can't even do a version of your own self. They'll sue you. We own that likeness. You're trying to do something similar.